Hello, everyone. I'm Eric Gibbs with Gambling News. I'm here today with Mattia Busuttil, the head of Rest of the World at PressEnter, the newly renamed PressEnter. The company was initially founded in 2018 with 21.com and now has 4 additional casino brands in its portfolio. Among these are Nitro Casino, Just Spin, Neon Vegas, and Ultra Casino. As it continues to expand, it is partnering with companies across the globe, including Playson, Yggdrasil, and many more, including most recently, 1x2 Network. Mattia, prior to joining PressEnter, had spent almost 4 years with Betson Group as its head of marketing for emerging markets, which is certainly coming in handy as PressEnter makes its case for a global gaming operator. Mattia, thank you for joining us today. It's really a pleasure to speak with you.
Hi, Eric. Thank you very much, and thanks for having me. So looking forward to our podcast together.
Definitely. This is going to be a great conversation. Now, initially, I wanted to talk to you directly about, what you've seen with PressEnter since you first joined, but I'd like to get a little bit more information first on the new name change. Why did Betpoint decide to move to PressEnter?
Well, so obviously one of the sort of main reasons why we're starting fresh, we're going strong, and we have big goals to become a tier 1 operator. So sort of it was the direction that the management team sort of felt, and this is sort of, we're very excited, and it's a new time for us. So looking forward to it.
It's a very catchy name. It's certainly going to be well received in the industry, that's for sure. Now, you joined PressEnter, Betpoint, just 3 months ago. What attracted you to the company?
It probably have to be the management team. So I had some very interesting talks sort of throughout my recruitment process, and I really kind of caught into the vision of sort of where they want to go and sort of where they want to place themselves over the next few years and become that tier 1 operator and sort of fight with the big boys. So that sort of really drove me, and it was quite exciting. I think one of the other things is sort of the whole approach about sort of their vision, which is sort of looking to acquire fantastic talent, and sort of even the way they sort of look to recruit people. Culture is such a big thing. And I know culture can be a loosely sort of used word in these big companies and startups, but we actually have a really good culture, and it's one of the things which sort of has drawn me towards the business, and one of the things I love about it. And that's one of the things we hold very close to ourselves as we sort of grow and scale. So yeah, I think those would probably be the main points.
Nice. It's always a challenge starting with a new company, not a new company in the sense of the company just started, but your position with it is new. Always brings new challenges, but also the opportunity to provide fresh ideas. So I'm sure that your presence is going to be very important to PressEnter's expansion as the global gaming industry continues to expand. What are PressEnter's short-term growth goals right now?
Well, as you said in the introduction, that we actually have 5 brands, but we actually have 6 now. We've just recently launched a new casino called Rapid Casino, which is a Western-themed casino. So we're quite busy with marketing over there, getting the brand out there. There's obviously some conferences going on in Europe at the moment. So we've got our marketing team out there really pushing the brand, sort of really kind of just getting that global expansion sort of working there. We also are looking into a number of local licenses. So we've got sort of a good workforce sort of tackling that, sort of making sure that we can kind of enter new markets, looking also at sort of emerging markets. So we're very busy in these sort of areas. And obviously the recruitment drive, we're growing. We've got like loads of momentum internally. So all departments are growing. So it's a very exciting time.
It sounds like it, definitely. You mentioned emerging markets. What are the regions that are currently most interesting to PressEnter?
I'd say so. Currently, as mentioned, we are looking at local licenses as well. So sort of for us, we're looking at both European and outside of Europe. And these are in terms of locally regulated markets. So that's a big part of our strategy to sort of add new licenses as we grow. And then in terms of new markets, obviously LATAM's very exciting. You've got Canadian regulation coming into place. You've also got DMJ license, which allows you to operate over a number of jurisdictions. So sort of there's a lot for us to sort of cover and look at the moment.
Definitely, there's a lot of movement in the industry everywhere right now, and unfortunately, it's not always movement that's going in the same direction. So companies such as PressEnter that have operations established in different geographic locations have to deal with a complete patchwork of regulations and compliance issues to get started. From the company's perspective, from your perspective, what is the biggest innovation that you're seeing in the iGaming industry right now?
From my perspective, I think it probably have to be data. I think the use of data is so powerful at the moment, and sort of some people do it really, really well. Some people sort of kind of do it the bog standard approach, especially when it comes to marketing. You sort of see that just general programmatic and these sort of channels. But if you really sort of deep dive, I think sort of data analysis, and then when you go down that route of looking at personalization, so the use of data is really, really important. And I think that overall just gives a really good experience. So data is a very big, wide field. But as mentioned, some people do it really, really well. So that's why I sort of see it as a really big innovation, and then others aren't. So I think that there's a huge opportunity within sort of data.
I agree. I mean, we witness so many companies grabbing wherever they can data that can be used with their gaming solutions, anywhere from slot machines all the way obviously through sports betting. So there is definitely a need for stronger data solutions and integration across the board in the gaming space. And it's going to be interesting, I believe, to see how this evolves over the next couple of years, and how much more data plays a role in the development of all types of games and betting options. Now, that of course is a good segue into my next question, which is, where will the iGaming space be 5 years from now, based on your opinion?
I think it's very hard to say. I think, as you know, the industry is going through a sort of it's a sort of a major acquisition phase. I mean, you look at the likes of over the last 24 months, where you had Red Tiger being acquired by NetEnt being acquired by Evolution, and now the big mammoth acquisition table that's been put out for Entain with DraftKings. That's just crazy. So I think in the next 5 years, what I probably would see is that there are going to be some major global giants in the space. And that's obviously through this big acquisition phase we're sort of seeing now. Mm-hmm. So I think those big players are going to hold and sort of dominate certain jurisdictions and certain geographic locations, which is fine. But I think, to be honest, there still is very much a big space and a big marketing opportunity for smaller operators to come in and sort of take market share and really fight the big guys.
Sure. And, that's a good topic to broach as well. With big companies like DraftKings wanting to basically dominate the world, where does that lead innovation in the iGaming space? DraftKings, already huge, multi-billion-dollar company. They want to be even bigger. If they were to take Entain, at that point, there would not be as much of a need for DraftKings to innovate. It controls the market, it dominates. So will that impact new innovation in the iGaming space should those big deals, the really big deals, find success?
Well, that's exactly why there'll always be space for the up and coming guys, the innovators, the ones that sort of are agile. You know what I mean? The bigger the companies, unfortunately, there's more red tape, there's more layers, and things just move slower at bigger companies. So the smaller guys who can sort of pick and choose and be very agile, be super flexible, and sort of have that opportunity to sort of look at gap analysis and say, okay, this is a gap in the market. Like, what can we do? What can we innovate? How can we make the customer experience better? And these guys are going to be the ones that are always sort of popping out of nowhere and sort of really changing the game.
I think you're right. It's been proven in plenty of industries before that the smaller entities are usually the ones that lead the biggest innovation, and it's going to be interesting to see how everything plays out. I certainly feel that the next 5 years are going to see a lot more innovation and a lot more emphasis on newer technologies being integrated into the gaming solutions. And of course, a lot of that is dependent on data. A lot of it is data driven. So it all comes together, and there's just so much room, like you said, right now for growth everywhere in the world, that there is literally no end to the possibilities that a gaming company could introduce if they are smart and examine, like you mentioned, those gaps and determine where their talents and experience would best be suited in the market. So it's going to be very interesting to see how things evolve, and I'm excited. I can't wait to see how things change over the next couple of years. It's a great time to be in the industry for sure.
Yeah, it's exciting to say the least.
Definitely, without a doubt. Now, Mattia, you of course have only been with the company for a couple of months. Um, that means you're facing challenges of not only growing the company, but the gaming industry itself. What are some of the biggest challenges that you're facing right now in your new role and in the growing gaming industry?
I think probably personally, it's probably like trying to navigate through all the different things that are going on at the moment. You know what I mean? You start looking at, if we just talk about licensing, you've got the Netherlands sort of kind of just recently announcing the first 10 licenses. You've got Canada opening the runway sort of for a big launch in Ontario. So we also have a number of projects going on with local licenses ourselves. So it's all about sort of making sure we can kind of keep full visibility of what's going on, still being able to find those opportunities and sort of take them head on.
It's a big challenge to undertake for sure. Sometimes it means taking risks that you may not quite be ready to embrace, but those risks are the ones that usually offer the biggest rewards. So it's certainly going to be interesting to see how PressEnter evolves over the next 6 to 12 months. Having said that, if there were one target of the iGaming industry that you personally see needs to be improved, what would that be?
I'd probably say sort of sustainability. I think, and sustainability can sort of be seen in a number of ways. I think what we tend to find is that when you have a number of local licenses sort of being introduced, they tend to be done very abruptly without sort of realizing that they kind of leave a lot of room for a black market, which actually sort of creates a sort of a very dangerous space for players going towards these sort of black market sites. So what happens is responsible gaming becomes an issue from the consumer side. So from our end, this is sort of really key to our growth, sort of making sure we can grow the business sustainably and sort of keeping responsible gaming at heart and sort of at the forefront to ensure that all our customers are protected.
Sure. It's obviously very important in the current environment where regulators are really harping on responsible gaming at every single turn. It's at the forefront of every conversation that takes place with new licensing and new implementation. So all of the worthwhile, reputable operators out there have to make sure that responsible gaming stays at the top of their list as well. Unfortunately, as you know, it's not a standard across the board. So having to respond to each individual jurisdiction and ensure in compliance can sometimes be challenging. But again, those companies that are able to embrace those differences are the ones that are able to drive the legal market, and ensure that the black market does either disappear through attrition or does not find favor with a large portion of the community. So like it, hate it, doesn't really matter. Responsible gaming is here, and it has to be taken seriously by all of the operators.
Of course, I think the quicker people get on board with sort of taking responsible gaming to sort of new heights, we will just naturally just create a more sustainable industry, because you will, without even realizing, sort of regulators will sort of say, okay, these guys play fair, they play safe, and the whole point is they actually care about the people, which we do, and that's something very important to us. And the more sustainable sort of kind of the industry comes, means there's longevity for business growth for all operators of all size. And I think this is one of the key reasons why the quicker you get on responsible gaming and you put it at the forefront, sort of long term, it will really pay off for the business.
I agree. And I think that that's the attitude that companies have to pursue today, is the long-term aspect of the relationship with the consumer, not the short term. There's been a tendency on the part of a number of operators, because the industry has grown, relatively fast. Some operators have just tried to jump in without really understanding what they needed to do, and those same operators are now quickly exiting as soon as they entered, because they haven't been able to toe the line, as it were, and weren't able to understand that the longevity is what's going to help them survive. It's not the quick buck that will keep them alive.
Definitely not.
Mattia, that's really all I had today. I know that you're getting over a cold, and I don't want to keep you talking too much, so you can restore your voice and use it for more important things like finding new targets. So I appreciate your time today. This has been a wonderful chat. I'm really looking forward to seeing how PressEnter grows over the next several of years. Is there anything else that you'd like to mention?
Okay, well, firstly, thanks again for having me. It's been a really great 25 minutes just chatting and sort of getting to know each other and just discussing across the industry. So thanks for that. It's been an absolute pleasure. And probably final notes are, I'd say, sort of kind of keep an eye for PressEnter. We're coming, we're growing, and check out rapidcasino.com.
Awesome. And we'll make sure that everyone gets the message as well. Thank you again, Matthias, and we will definitely talk soon.
Great, thank you. Talk soon.